pretty nice guide. Chaos Free is, basically, you are being challenged with geodes. They deflect incoming projectile attacks. So with that said, you are not supposed to be using projectile type towers on this chaos. The reason this was made is to challenge users into using other defenses and find a successful strategy, which we will be heading in straight on. My recommendations for this chaos is that everybody holds down their own lane and puts down the geodes, which are spear-like creatures that do not attack at any source or rate. However, be aware your own attacks can be deflected and kill you or the crystal. I recommend you use traps and blockades to hold down, plus the usual air defenses that you need. So, for the sake of this, I will just place lots and lots of traps. Now this will work if you are coming in from Chaos 2. Even though I'm overpowered right now, I did once go through Chaos 3, so I know what the pain is for some people. It's not that difficult if you know what you're doing though. In my recommendation, you can do any of the maps without aerial defenses. I prefer you do the throne room for starters if you do not want to deal with aerial defenses. However, it's all up to you. So let's get this build simply set up. All you want are blockades, traps, and anything that can hold off enemies. You do not want to worry about putting down any towers that do projectile damage. This includes cannonball towers, the PDTs, and anything else that fires at a range. And it's not that bad of a chaos. Doing this chaos will reward you better loot than Chaos 2. So I do hope you guys stick around and enjoy. So let's get this started. All I have to do is build my traps, and usually in Chaos 3, especially on the throne room, enemies will appear in order of activity. They will get more active in certain areas throughout the wave, usually counterclockwise. So now we will finish up the rest of this build, and then we'll start. All we need is one more air tower and we are good to go. I weakened this lane, that way I can show you. So the geodes are these purple orbs. These are the things you want to put down. They are the ones that deflect all your projectiles. Simple, if you're playing on a map like Nimbus Reach, for example, or any of the other Chaos 3 maps, there should be 4 lanes, one for each player. By now, every player is expected to hold their lane. And once your lane clears out a bit, you can help out the other lanes. But once their lane starts getting enemies, you go back and help. Chaos 3 really isn't that difficult. The difficulty will start picking up the pace around Chaos 5. So if you're still new to the game, all you need to do is practice some strategies. It's okay if you lose the first few times. A lot of people think you'll win every time, and that's not how a game always works. It's more fun if you are challenged in a sense. So yeah, welcome to Chaos 3. Now, here are some other recommendations I have for you guys. I would recommend you upgrade, if you are doing upgrades on traps, upgrade the one closest to the door upon each wave. That way, the enemies will die faster before getting to your blockades. Now, I understand that if you are coming from Chaos 2, the enemies will reach your blockades anyways, so that's why I recommend you early on upgrade any traps that are closest to the enemy doors. Once you have done that, you can ready up. Of course, while spending all the mana. Make sure to save some mana for repairs, as the enemies are not as nice. Infix, I can do it. Hold on, somebody said no blockade challenge. Alright, bring it on. Alright, Infix, that's goals then. I'm doing... You know, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. For my Chaos 4 guide video, which I'm gonna make soon, I'm going to wear um, not Chaos 4, for my Chaos 5 guide video, I will be wearing only Chaos 4 gear. And that way I'll show you how strategy really dominates, and it's not always... Well, actually gear does make a huge difference. But in this game, a lot of people... I see the biggest struggle for most players start at Chaos 5. So I'm like, okay, so I have collected some gear from Chaos 4. And I'm going to be making a tutorial on Chaos 5, but when I'm doing it, I'm going to be wearing Chaos 4 gear. That way it's more fair for the players, because I'm right now running overpowered gear, and it doesn't, and they cannot like really see the whole difference. I want them to see it, because I want them to know. So let me show you real quick. My inventory, I have collected in this tab, this here, these are the KS4 relics and such that I'm going to be running. And so here is my gun witch's loot, my squire, my EV, and my monk. I have it all ready for Chaos 5. Simple, once the wave starts up again, put down the geodes and any enemies that come up. Everybody should be able to hold their lane without trouble. Or if not, they should at least be able to stun or distract enemies. If you are playing a squire, and you can't kill anything, which I've seen it a lot, then please use your provoke and distract the enemies until a teammate can come and help you, or just use it to keep them in the traps. If you're a huntress, use the concussive shots. They will stun the enemies, and that will help you out a lot. If you are a monk, I don't really have any good guides for you. I don't play monk. And if you are any other class, just keep everything I said in mind. And now we have 2 skeletons. We are on wave 3 and we are a huge success. Now, if anybody does want carries, don't hesitate to message me. I'd love to help you out if you guys still have any trouble. And it's always fun. It really is. Alright, that is wave 3 complete. Now, I do not want to show, actually, I will show it. So, I will show a reference of what happens if the geodes, for example, come out. If these fire, okay, actually, I can't do that. We got these skeletons out. But what happens here is these cannonballs will be reflected, and they can go back at your blockade and destroy your blockade, depending how powerful your cannons are. You can also immediately kill the crystal, or kill yourself, using your own abilities. So just be aware of that when you guys play Chaos 3. Now, like I said, so here are the few things for you all to remember. Upgrade all auras and traps closest to the doors of the enemies. Make sure when you're playing Chaos 3, do not use projectile based towers. When you're playing Chaos 3, everybody needs to hold down their own lane. And do not forget, if you need help with a lane or boss, you got to make sure your lane is clear enough before you can move up. And that's basically a general rundown of Chaos 3. Short, simple, and it's not that difficult. The difficulty really picks up at Chaos 5. Now, of course, I need to explain this to some people, but when you find loot in these matches and all, just to let you all know, loot, basically, in my experience, I've tried the way where you put on better loot, I've tried the way where you compare sell value, and honestly, the fastest loot improvements I found was by equipping items of a similar quality with higher sell value. For example, these are free blue pieces of gear. I'm already wearing max Chaos 7 gear, so everything I find will be a max value in Chaos 3. But let's say you're coming from Chaos 2 into Chaos 3. These blue items, you can have all blue items on your character equipped, And then once you hit the max sell value, which in this case, for example, a blue chest is 255, then you know you've hit the cap. Once you've hit the cap by equipping, you just need to keep equipping blue gear that has a higher sell value than the one you have on. Once you keep doing that, and you hit the max, then start finding the gold and purple gear. And then, once you do that, put it on, or upgrade it.